Assalamu alaikum. In the most holy name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, the all-wise, the true and the living God who appeared among us, the black man and the woman here in America, in the person of Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his divine servant and messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I greet our listeners, our viewers, whether you are on the East Coast, the West Coast, the North or the South, in the greeting words of peace and paradise in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to Muhammad's Temple of Islam United Sunday Lectures. We thank you for taking time to view us and to listen to us. We thank you, brothers and sisters, and we ask that you call a friend, a neighbor, a relative, and let them know that Muhammad's Temple of Islam Sunday Lectures are now in action and on the air. Brothers and sisters, we could never ever thank Allah enough for raising up a man whose love for black people was unparalleled. It ran deep and it ran long, more than 40 years, for the resurrection and the restoration of the black man and woman here in America, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. If we lived 1,000 years, we couldn't thank Allah enough for that man. And this, his teachings, is what we bring to you today. And we would like to thank all the brothers and sisters who hold up the name of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and what Islam, the Nation of Islam, has given us. Thank all the brothers and sisters who are members of the Nation of Islam. Thank you, brothers and sisters, the ministers, the captains, whatever position. If you're just an ordinary brother or sister, or what you call the ordinary, none of us are ordinary. We are extraordinary once you embrace the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So we thank you for joining us. We thank those brothers and sisters for your time. Whenever we come together, we have always been taught to open up our meetings in prayer. So, brothers and sisters, please follow me silently. If you know the prayer, we ask you to join us. Some of you may not be praying people, or you may be of a different religious persuasion, but we still ask you to join us in the Muslim opening prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful. Surely I have turned myself to Thee, O Allah, trying to be upright to He who has originated the heaven and the earth, and I'm not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer and my sacrifice, my life and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. No associates has He, and this I am commanded. I am of those who submit. O Allah, Thou art the King, and there is no God but Thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am Thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So grant me protection against all my faults, for none grants protection against faults but Thou. And guide me into the best of morals, for none guides into the best of morals but thou. And turn away from me the evil and the indecent morals, for none turns away the evil and the indecent morals but thou. And O Allah, make Muhammad successful, and the followers of Muhammad successful. Here in the wilderness of North America, as thou did make Abraham and the followers of Abraham successful, for surely thou art praised and magnified. And O Allah, bless Muhammad and the followers of Muhammad here in the wilderness of North America, as thou did bless Abraham and the followers of Abraham, for surely thou art praised and magnified in thy midst. Ameen. Once again, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom all praise is due forever, and in the name of his divine servant and messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Again, brothers and sisters, thank you for joining us today. And we have a subject for you that we believe is good for you and good for our people. The title of my subject today is the 5 principles of Islam. I will repeat that again. The 5 principles of Islam. But before we get into our subject, brothers and sisters, I just wanted to mention briefly about these holidays. Of course, you heard last week and the week before last, 2 of our ministers, our brothers, Minister Daniel Shabazz and Brother Minister Waleed Muhammad, who gave a very good subject on Christmas and its meaning and its fallacy and all the things that our people are wrapped up in this false worship, using the name of one of our great prophets, Jesus, whose actual name is Yusuf, Isa, the son of Yusuf. Okay? They gave a good subject, but I just wanted to touch on a couple of things because, our people are so wrapped up in this holiday. And we spend thousands and thousands of dollars. We go in debt. We buy all these toys. We buy all these gifts. And it's really something that has affected our people for many, many years. And the white man, who the Honorable Elijah Muhammad described as the devil in the flesh, benefits from the millions of dollars that we spend. And many of them don't even believe in this so-called Christmas. But you spend your money. And that is not a good thing. It is not a good thing. These holidays are made up by the white man for commercial reasons. I passed through an event last week. They were giving out gifts and toys. I went to meet someone that I know there. And I looked at the people that were there. They were taking toys and they were eating. And I watched their faces. I watched their body language. And they were just taking. They were just grabbing things. And there was no real substance there. It was just taking. And if this is supposed to be a holiday of giving, they were just taking. And the little children that was just going around, and some of them wanted more. They were asking, Mother, can I have that? And it was just an empty ceremony. It was just an empty ceremony. There was nothing there. So we have to get away from that false worship of Christmas and all of these so-called holidays, and we are engulfed and they pull us in. Because many of us came out of the Christian tradition. Some of us didn't go to church. Just because you didn't go to church don't mean you're not a Christian. You're part of the Christian philosophy, the Christian behavior, the Christian tradition. So, we have to be very careful of taking part in these holidays. And the word holiday is supposed to be worshiped as a holy day. That's what a holiday means. But on Christmas, there's more smoking of dope during that so-called holy day. There's more snorting of cocaine on this so-called holiday or holy day. There's more fighting and killing. There's more arguments. There's more spending money that you don't have. And the whole aspect, the whole purpose is to recognize the birth of Jesus Christ, but that is the furthest thing from the minds of our people. All they want is someone to give them something. Jesus had no idea about this day. And we are inundated with all of these traditions, with all of these kind of worshiping, and these holidays and these celebrations. Some of us celebrate the anniversary of our marriage. Where did that come from? Who started that? Some of us celebrate the birth of ourselves, our so-called birthday, because you only have one birthday, and that was whatever day your mother gave birth to you. Some of us celebrate Valentine's Day. Where did that come from? Do you know in America, they have a celebration almost everything that you can think of. They got National Donut Day. No, this is true. They got National Day of Father and Son. All of these things are ceremonial. They're nice. They're kind of sentimental. They're kind of endearing. But where did they come from? Who came up with these ideas? We have Mother's Day. We have Father's Day. Who started these things? 99% of them, brothers and sisters, is to take money from us. They're ceremonial and they are commercials for us to go into our pockets and rob us of our hard-earned money. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he didn't celebrate his birthday. He didn't. They used to bring him gifts on his birthday. He said he didn't really actually know the actual date of his birthday. See, when he was born back in the 1800s, a lot of the brothers and sisters back then, they were post-slavery. So a lot of the slave masters didn't tell them when they were born. Some of them were born right there in the field. Some of our black women were picking cotton in the fields of Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, and they would have the child right there. They wouldn't record. The slave master didn't record the birth. They knew it was kind of around a certain date and time. The messenger said, they used to give him so many gifts. He said he used to tell the believers, stop sending me these gifts. He said, take your money and use it for yourself. He said, in fact, you want to celebrate my birthday? He said, give those gifts to my wife. He said, she gave birth to all of my children. She's more worthy of that celebration than me. So, but where do these things come from? These ceremonial. The white man put together all of these holidays or celebrations to rob you of your money because you didn't start it. See, we operate on what is called the the Gregorian calendar, which is 12 months, 365 days a year. Pope Gregory, it's come from the Pope. Pope Gregory was one of the popes because we live under Western civilization, which is the formerly in the world, the Holy Roman Empire. The Roman Empire ruled the world. They introduced everything that some of you are practicing. All the religions, the Baptists, the Methodists, the Episcopalians, the I believe that's the pronunciation, Angle kind of worship religion. So we go along with the calendar. See, in the Eastern world, they practice or set up their system by the lunar calendar, the moon. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that Master Farad Muhammad, God in person, taught him that these things that you worship was put together by the white man. He said in the ancient world, they went by the lunar calendar because they charted their practices and did the things that was necessary because they were basically agricultural people. They did a lot of farming. They lived off the earth. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, Master Farad Muhammad said, the sun and the moon has a very attracting power on the earth. And the moon controls the tides. And the sun comes down, its rays come pierce the darkness and makes the crops grow. So the Eastern or the ancient world based their movements and their practices and their everyday life based on the movement of the sun and the moon, which has an attracting power on the earth. And the sun and the moon causes all the things that you see happening. This is true. So it is the scientists on Madison Avenue in New York City that come up with all of these ideas to make you practice and go into those ceremonies so you can spend money. They are masters of sales. They are masters to attract your mind. They sit down and come up with ideas. What else we can come up with these so these people can practice all of these kind of things so we can make more money. That's right. There was a book that was introduced to us by Wallace Muhammad. There's one thing he gave us. It was called Subliminal Seduction. Subliminal Seduction. You might be able to get the book. And the book talks about how the masters of suggestion in this society will suggest something to you subliminally. You see, because your eyes see things, and then it goes into your subconscious mind and it produces an idea. So they know how to seduce you. That's why when you go to buy a car, you notice there's a white woman and blonde hair and blue eyes sitting on top of the car. That's called subliminal seduction, to seduce you. And you think you're going to get the car. You think you're going to get the woman and the car. That's just to suggest to you an idea. So they design all of those advertisements that go into your mind and suggest things to you and seduce things to you, and then you go right to the store. You don't know why you picked up that particular item. It was already seduced into your mind. It was already suggested into your mind. Okay? They say there's 16 frames on a reel of a camera. The reel cameras. When you go to the movie, in between all of those things, there's things that's being suggested to you. So all of those things you celebrating, someone suggested that to you because you didn't start it. You didn't start Valentine's Day. You didn't start Halloween. You didn't start your anniversary. We celebrate our anniversary once a year. It's a very nice thing to go to your wife and your wife come to you and celebrate. That's very nice, very beautiful, very sentimental. But you didn't start that. The white man put that in your mind. This is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said we need alternative culture. We need to, he said there will be a new Islam. And all the old practices and all the old ways of doing things will be washed away. There will be a new heaven and a new earth. There will be a new black man and a new black woman. And all of those pagan practices, those empty ceremonies will no longer be. It will be a new Islam. And he said that the only thing that will remain in the new Islam, which will be represented by the black man, we will be the ones that will guide this here. He said the only things that will remain from the old world of Islam is the 5 principles of Islam. All praises are due to Allah. That brings us right into our subject. Now, what is a principle? And we want to make that known first. What is a principle? A principle is a proposition that serves as a foundation for a system of beliefs and behavior. Let me repeat that again, because we need to understand what a principle is. Because there's 5 principles of Islam, and we'll get into why there's 5. And you might say, well, there's only 5? No, there's many more. But there's 5 fundamental principles. And they are steeped in the nature of the black man and woman and in the nature of the human being. A principle is a proposition that serves as a foundation for a system of beliefs or behavior. It's a scientific law that is wide in its perspective. That is what a principle is. See, brothers and sisters, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad took us out of a world that was destroying us and making us perpetual slaves. So he had to give us certain things that was necessary for us as a people, black people in America, to make us successful. Because in the street, when you're growing up, you ain't got no principles out there. There's nothing you live by. Some of us live by day to day. That's why if you ask a black man, what's going on, bro? Ain't nothing happening. What you mean ain't nothing happening? The world is turning. The sun is shining. Okay? The trees are blooming. What do you mean ain't nothing happening? You walking because we were steeped in a system that made us empty and made us feel ain't nothing happening. So what's going on? I remember I asked the brother, what's going on, brother? He said, ain't nothing happening. He said, ask Marvin Gaye. Ask Marvin Gaye what's going on. So we need a principle to guide and govern and balance our life. We need some principles, brothers and sisters. The 5 principles of Islam. A principle and the fundamental principles. Fundamental means basic, means essential. Things that a system, a practice, or a way of dealing that will make you strong, that will make you steadfast, that will make you shake off all that street life and make you focused in your everyday life. The principles of Islam is also called the pillars of Islam. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us when he met Master Farad Muhammad in 1931, he said he taught him almost day and night for 3.5 years. He said he didn't force him. He didn't pressure him. He said, Honorable Elijah Muhammad speaking, he said he accepted what Master Farad Muhammad gave him. And he internalized. He said he sucked it up like a sponge. And he said he taught him in increments. He said he fed him like a child. He said in the beginning, some of the things he didn't understand. He said in that interview with Buzz Anderson in Phoenix, Arizona, that great iconic interview called The Messenger of Violet Drive, he said he would teach him and he would hint, Master Farad Muhammad, he said that Master Farad Muhammad would hint certain things. And then the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, years later, he would say, that's what he meant. So, brothers and sisters, you know, when you study the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, black men, all of us, don't think we know everything. Some of the things that don't come to us later on. Just study. The 5 fundamental principles of Islam, which is also called pillars. What is a pillar? A pillar is structures. Sometimes they're vertical structures that are made of stone, steel, iron, that holds up a building, that holds together a structure. But what are we talking about when we say the pillars of Islam? When you have a pillar, it is also described as something that you put when you're in bed or when you're relaxing. If you notice, some of the, I have a sofa, a section of sofa, and every section has a pillar, an instrument that you can put your head. So when you go to sleep, what do you put under your head? You put a pillow. Why do you put it under your head? This is where you think. This is where you come up with ideas. This is where you relax your mind. Okay? You don't put necessarily pillows under your feet unless you got swollen ankles. Some of us got swollen ankles, brother. You get your feet elevated. But most of the time, we put the pillow under our head because this is the most important part of your body. It is the pillar that holds up everything. So in our community, in the black community in particular, generally, you notice there's chaos. there's dysfunction. There's things that are not in order. There's no structure. There's no pillars. So that's just why people violate each other. You know when you were in the street, there was no principles there. They didn't have anything to hold you up. You would rob people. You would lie, cheat. Some of us wouldn't go to school. I never went to school. I mean, I went to school when I was younger, but I didn't understand the need to stay in school. I loved school, but I would hang out with my friends because they weren't going to school. I didn't have any kind of principles to lean back on. My mother did, and father, the best they could in teaching us some basic right and wrongs. The white man provides all the food, the clothing, and the shelters for the majority of the black community. And we spend in the American economy, we got mad money. Our money that we spend has reached almost $1.8 trillion. You know what poor country can do with that kind of money? And then we complain every day that we don't have anything. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we need the 5 principles of Islam. He said the number one, because we're going to go from 1 to 5. Just stick with me, brothers and sisters. We're going to get through this here. It's going to be as clear as possible. We're not going to go into everything because we can be here for hours. But we're going to just give you some basic understanding of the 5 principles of Islam. The first principle is the belief in Allah. Not just the belief in Allah as a spirit, not just the belief in Allah as some kind of aberration or some type of unattainable entity, but we believe in Allah, who came in the person of Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, a real, live human being. So are you saying, Brother Hop, and excuse me, brothers and sisters, I didn't recall to introduce myself. I am brother. First, Brother Minister Abdul Haq Muhammad, a member of the Nation of Islam. Please forgive me. I was so focused on my subject, and some of you are familiar with me already, but I just wanted to give those of you who don't know me, I came in the Nation of Islam in 1965. I was a young man, teenager, and in New York City, born and raised in New York City. I'm still here. So I don't want to get into my entire life right here because that's not my subject. But I just wanted to introduce and reintroduce myself to you. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the number one principle of Islam is the belief in Allah, a belief in something higher than yourself. When you came into this world, you didn't come in, you didn't produce yourself. But he said that we believe Allah appeared in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And you said, brother, what you mean? Man is God? Yes, that's what we mean. That's what Mr. Muhammad taught us. See, you were so lazy, our people. You can't even conceive, you can't even come up with a thought that God is not a spirit, and he can be a man. You take the path of the least resistance without taking your mind and studying and analyzing and coming up with the possibility that God is a man. You said Jesus was a man and he's from God, and some of you call Jesus God. He was born of a woman. But you cannot believe and you cannot understand that God is in fact a human being. Because you are so lazy. You accept things on face value. Some of you believe that Jesus was born on December 25th. You believe that. You believe that his mother was a virgin, never was touched by a man. How could that be? If your daughter came home today, your 14-year-old daughter, and she was pregnant and told you she was pregnant, and you want to know, well, who impregnated you? Where's that dude? Where's that cat at? Where's that joker? And she said, no, mommy, no, daddy. A spirit impregnated me. Why, you would run her out of town. You say, you out of your mind, girl. What are you, lying to us? You wouldn't believe her. So it is the number one belief that Allah is God, and that we worship no one other than Allah. Now, what does that have to do with the black community? Allah gives us peace by the very idea that we believe that he is the author of peace. That's what Islam means. It means peace. It is the nature of man and woman. It is the nature in which man and woman was created by Allah to give us peace. That is your sole desire. Each and every one of us, I don't care where you're from, you desire peace. You desire contentment. You desire tranquility. That is our nature. And belief in Allah gives us that idea and continence of peace. And I see when they look at the Muslims, they say, brother, why y'all look so calm? Why y'all look so tranquil? Why you look so peaceful? Because we have the religion of Islam and the belief in Allah. Now, in a book written by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called Message to the Black Man in America, he says, on page 72, the principles of Islam. He said the number one principle of Islam is the belief in Allah, God. The belief in a power higher than man. See, sometimes we have to humble ourselves, brothers and sisters. See, I look at some of the entertainers. I look at some of the successful people. Every now and then, they'll mention or give reverence to God as the power behind their success. But many of them are arrogant. I did it myself. No one helped me. Well, you're a liar. Someone helped you. No man is an island. No man stands alone. Every man and woman, someone gave you some inspiration. Someone gave you an idea. Someone helped you along the way. Don't get so arrogant. See, we have to understand in our community, if we believe in Allah, you believe in yourself. And when you believe in yourself, you believe in Allah, and you can get things done in your community because you don't see God outside of you. God is in you. He's around you. He's a part of you. And you can be successful, brothers and sisters, in the black community if you believe in the power higher in you, but not a spook, not a spirit, something that is operating in you every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad goes on to say, although man may be ignorant or of just who it is who has the supreme power, it can be traced back to the beginning of civilization of the human race and to the beginning of the writings of history. He says, regardless of the tribes and national gods, listen, there still exists the belief in a greater God that was more powerful than the national gods or those who were molded by their own hands out of clay, wood, iron, silver, gold, stone, and some of the great gods were the leaders of the tribes of the people. See, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is letting you know the people worship gods other than the true God. They worship heaps of stone. Heaps of sand, made into stone. They worship statues. There was people that worshiped the sun as God because they knew the sun gave a life to the vegetation and grew the grass and, gave them warmth. So they thought that was God. Some of them worship statues. Some of them worship water because water quenched their thirst. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, this is why in Islam it says, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar in its true meaning or transliteration means Allah is greater. It doesn't mean Allah is the greatest. It means Allah is the greater, which means there's other gods, but Allah is greater than your God. Allah, there are many people that know things, but Allah is the best of knower. He has supreme knowledge. So those kind of principles, once you have that, brothers and sisters, it can literally transform our communities. When you believe in Allah, you believe in yourself. And if you believe in yourself, you believe in Allah. This is why the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us. When they asked him, he said, where's your God, Elijah? He said, every time I look at the black man, I'm looking at God. And he turned it around and said, well, you bring me your God and put it before me. And he said, well, you can't see him. He said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, well, I don't want to see him if he don't want to see me. Praises be to Allah. So brothers and sisters, belief in Allah reinforces the power of our own being and allows us to take charge of our families, our children, and our community. Just leave you with that. And you continue to study. The number 2 belief, a belief in prayer. Well, why do you have to pray? Black people are some praying people. But the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said we were praying to the wrong God. We were reaching out to that which did not exist. But prayer is a fundamental practice. And it is practiced by many people throughout the earth, brothers. Most religions have a prayer institution. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said we should pray 5 times a day. Why 5 times? He said if you wash yourself 5 times a day, would you be clean? Of course you would. So likewise, if you pray 5 times a day, it keeps you away from evil thoughts. Thoughts travel in the air. You're listening to music. You're watching the internet and the video, and it's transmitting ideas to your mind. Okay? So how do you combat those negative ideas and transmissions? By always keeping your mind focused and praying. They said the greatest force in the universe is the remembrance of Allah. By focusing and praying, you ward off evil thoughts. You overcome negative ideas. Most of us came up in this white man society. You know, we speak English, and we speak it the best way we can, and to articulate as best we can. But we think in English. English is a slave language. It is a combination of German, French, and English. Okay, a little bit of Spanish in there. It's a bastard language, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said. So you think in English, and you think in the idea of the slave master. You can't even think outside of the white man's thoughts because you speak his language. This is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it has to be a new Islam, a new thought, a new culture. New things would come into existence. So prayer keeps us focused, brothers. Even if you're walking down the street, you can say, all praise is due to Allah. Praise God. Thank you. See, we can sit for hours and hours and watch videos, listen to music, watch the YouTube. But do we take the time and thank God and focus and say thank you for life and life? Just a moment. We thank Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and we recognize Allah as the one and only true and living God. We're moving right along. That is the number 2 principle, is to believe in prayer. Okay? But just don't make your prayers empty. Get up and do something after you pray. Because most of the time we start praying when we get in trouble. When something happens to us. Something negative affects us. And then we start praying. We go to jail. And we say, God, you get me out of this one. I'll never do that again. As soon as you hit the street, you back to the old behavior because you haven't internalized the true meaning of prayer. Okay? Number 3 principle, belief in charity. Now, what is charity? Most, of course, religions has a portion of their practice called charity. In the church, Hinduism, Buddhism, most of the Christian religions, they have a portion where they give to charity. Where do you start first with charity? You start with yourself. You be charitable to yourself. Now, how does that work? You have to take care of yourself. You have to wash. You have to make sure your health is intact. You got to go to a doctor or a physician. You got to make sure your house is well structured and maintained. Your rent is paid. Your mortgage is paid. You got to make sure that your mind is right and you're striving to do better on some structural levels where you have a plan. You cannot be charitable to other people if you're not charitable first to yourself. We have in our general orders, general number 1, to take charge of this post and all temple property in view. That's the general number 1 of the fruit of Islam. But take charge of the post doesn't mean you're standing on a post on front rostrum or you're standing on the doorpost outside. Take charge of this post first, and then all temple property in view, all those things around you. And that's not limited to just the temple meeting. This is the first temple. If you don't take care of this, brothers and sisters, everything else will mean nothing. This is why if you look in the black community, they don't take charge. The white man controls all the institutions in the black community. You don't control anything. But we have the power to control those things. Take charge of your post. Be charitable to yourself first. And you'll view all temple properties, just not the temple, but the whole community that you live in. We complain how our community looks like a ghetto, a slum. That is because it's a slum in our mind, because we haven't been charitable in our implications in our community. Let us move on. The word charity comes from a Greek word, and the prefix of it is char, C-H-A-R, which means love. Give to that which you love. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad was a giving man. He taught us that third principle, which is charity. That's why the Nation of Islam was so successful, because we gave out of that which we were blessed to have. And it made us a beacon of light in the black community. Black people, you have that opportunity. The other word in Arabic, which is called zakat, which is mean to give out of that which you say you love and believe. And we have to give out of what we say we believe to make us successful. As I was saying earlier, I was at this I was at this event where they were giving out Christmas toys and gifts, and they never told those people, those children were taken, never mentioned to them to give back. So they're going to wait for another event or Christmas again so they can take, but they never instructed them or informed them or taught them to give back to their community. The earth, which is 196,940,000 square miles in its area or circumference, gives us everything we need. What do we give back to the earth? We take, but we don't give back. And that's what we have to teach our children. We have to teach them to be charitable. When I used to take my children to the temple, I used to always give them money to put in to charitable or charity receptacles. So I was training them to give and not always take. And that transforms and transcends into the community where we give. And the community will be successful once we give back. we don't even support black businesses. How are we going to be the black Muslims or the black Hebrew Israelites or the black nationalists or the black fraternities when we don't even, by and large, support black businesses? I don't buy everything. I bank with a black bank because I have to be the example. I buy all of my tissue paper and towel paper from a black company. I get my coffee from a black company. I get my laundry detergent from a black company. I wish I could do more. But at least do one, brothers and sisters. So we can't complain that the white man doesn't give us anything when we don't take the steps and go out of our way to support a black company. We go to the Arab stores. We go to Popeyes. We go to Applebee's. We go to Red Lobster. When the last time you've been to a black restaurant? That's an act of charity, brothers and sisters. And that will support our black community and make us successful. Principle number 4, or the 4th principles of Islam, or the fourth pillar of Islam, which is fasting. What do you mean fasting? What is the benefit of fasting? It has 2 levels. You abstain from eating for a period of time, or you refrain from taking in certain kind of thoughts or ideas for a period of time. Shutting yourself down. Shutting yourself away. What is the benefit of both of those things? When you shut yourself off from the negative ideas and influences, you're fasting. You can re-energize yourself. You can re-evaluate yourself and begin to be critical. And this is what the black community has to do, because we are so inundated. We are so forced to take in all of these things, and we don't keep those evil things out. We accept everything that's being taught to us. And we're being controlled by the forces of thought. Fast, brothers and sisters. Cut yourself off. And then we have the fast of not taking in food for a period of time. What's the benefits? Number 1, for those 2 things, fasting, keeping our minds away, and keeping us away from eating all day and every day. It keeps us away from evil thoughts. It cleanses our body. So when you fast and you're not taking in food, your blood is cleaning itself, because most of the things that we eat has poisons in it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad knew that we would have a hard time not being affected by the foods and the poisons that are in our foods. So he said at least once a month, at the beginning or the end of the month, we should fast for at least 3 days. It cleans the blood. When I came up as a young man in the nation, I knew brothers that ate 1 meal a day. I knew brothers and sisters that ate every other day. I knew brothers and sisters that ate every 3 days. Their skin was so smooth and so bright and light. Their eyes were so focused, and there was no yellow in the whiteness of their eyes. There was no red. Their hair and bodies were so lean but not frail. That is because they practiced fasting. And also, when you fast, you appreciate food more. Okay? You appreciate the value of food and its need and its value to us. See, you got people in other countries that don't even have food. Maybe they might have a morsel or bowl of rice for that whole day or for 2 or 3 days. They may have a morsel of bread. But see, we are so selfish. We are so used to just having everything at our disposal. We don't understand the importance of not having. You know? So, with that, we don't understand the value of not having food, and it keeps us as gluttons. We eat all day. We eat 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. Then we have snacks. Then we eat breakfast and brunch. I used to work in a restaurant. You wouldn't believe the food that was thrown away. We take everything for granted in this country. It's there for us. When you fast, you have a more appreciation for food. And then you would give to others that don't have. Don't give to some of the brothers that be on the streets begging for food, because they don't want no food. Most of the time, they want to get high. I remember I saw this brother on a train. He didn't have no legs. And he would come through the train asking for money. He was a little dirty, a little greasy, a little funky. And he would roll on this little board with wheels on it, And people was giving him money. Man, he had so much money. I saw this man maybe about a couple of days later on 125th Street. He was buying wine and liquor and for everybody. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the black man has to know how to do for self and stop begging. He said, you got to teach a man the fish. Teach him the fish, and you'll feed him for a lifetime. But if you just give him $1 that day, you feed him for one day. Most of the brothers that come around in my house, they ask for money, they see me on the street. I said, no, you come by my house to shovel the snow. Or you clean up in front of my yard. Or I'll let you come in and fix something. So I'm giving them, I'm teaching them, not just giving them money. And that has been the problem with our people in America, because we depend on the white man. So that's why today Donald Trump and his government administration are taking away all of those things. That's good. Taking away DEI, affirmative action. Well, take it away. Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad warned us that a day would come when the white man would take all those things from you. And you'll be walking around begging for a job when you can create a job for yourself. God came to make us independent, to give us freedom, justice, and equality. Now, the final principle number 5, the pilgrimage. Now, what is a pilgrimage? A pilgrimage is a journey to a place that leads to a personal transition. A pilgrimage is a journey that leads to a personal transition. When you're on a journey, brothers and sisters, there's a period of time when you want to reach a certain transition or destination. In Islam, the principle number 5, which is a pilgrimage, some say it is the pilgrimage to Mecca, which is in Saudi Arabia, which is bordered by the Indian Ocean on the south. But that's a symbol of the real journey that each and every one of us, black man and woman, child, female and male, has to make in order to be successful in our life, personally, and in our community. See, Mecca is just a symbol. It's a black stone that sits there. They make 7 circles around it every year called the Hajj. That's a symbol. What is it a symbol of? It's a symbol of man going in himself on a journey to cleanse that which was inadequate, that which is off track, that which is unbalanced, to reach the perfection of man. See, at one time, it was Jerusalem because the Jews or the Hebrews were in Mecca. So they would turn to Jerusalem as the focal point of the pilgrimage until the advent of Prophet Muhammad. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. He turned the Muslim to the black stone. I don't want to get into the black stone. It's a whole another teachings, brother. But I want you to understand what the greatest pilgrimage is. It is to go within yourself and discover, first of all, is to ward off all of those negative, unrealistic ideas and things that hold you down, you know, and show you the great principles of life and what you need to do. It is to go within yourself. That is the greatest pilgrimage. The white man took us on a journey from the sunny shores of Africa, where we had great civilizations and cultures and traditions and God, and took us on a long journey sometime while we were in the holds of ships, our ancestors, packed and stacked like sardines. It was 6 to 8 months we would be on the seas in the Atlantic Ocean. Some of us survived, others didn't. But that was a journey. And we were brought here to America. But Allah did not forsake us. He appeared in the person of Master Farad Muhammad and met the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. His love, his compassion for us. That is why he's called Wali. You ever notice he took the name Wallace? See, that is a Welsh name. Wallace comes from Europe. It's a Welsh name. There's a people called Welsh. His name was Wallace. Why did he call himself Wallace? That Wallace is not necessarily Arabic, but if you take off certain prefix of it, he is Wali, the friend of the black man and woman, the one Master Wali, Farad Muhammad. That's right. He found us, searched for us. His father put him on that course. And that journey we were in, and we are still in that journey right now, 400 years, but we have the principle of the pilgrimage that we can go in and have self-actualization and take away all of those things, brothers and sisters, as I near my conclusion. The 5 principles of Islam, there are many principles in Islam, but there's 5 fundamental. To give you an example of the importance of the principles that you need and the 5 fundamental. David, found in the Bible. David was a shepherd boy. It's found in the book of Samuel, 1st chapter, 17 verse. David was a young shepherd boy. And the children of Israel were being faced and tormented and terrorized by a giant called Goliath. Goliath was a Philistine. And they had to protect themselves. They had to fight or be destroyed. Now listen, this is a principle that's happening. These are principles that are fundamental. So they were ready to fight Goliath. And they offered David some of his companions, some of his associates, offered him spears, offered him all kind of instruments of war, all kind of defense mechanism. But David said, I will take what Jehovah, God, has given me. He said, I will use this slingshot, and I will take 5 smooth stones. And David took one of the smooth stones and put it inside the slingshot. And this great big giant Goliath came forth. And he pulled the slingshot with all the power and strength that he had. He said, I don't need no shield and spears. He said, all I need is the 5 smooth stones. And he pulled it back. And he hit Goliath right between the eye. And that big bad giant fell. David took a sword from the giant as he laid and chopped the giant's head off. Bang! Okay? 5 smooth stones. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, okay, is like David. Some of the people, the Black Panthers, they want to carry guns. Malcolm was advocating, after he left the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and advocated picking up arms. Some of the FOI that was around the Honorable Elijah Muhammad tried to encourage him. Said, how come we don't have weapons, dear Holy Apostle? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, I'm like David. I don't need a weapon. He said, all I need is the 5 principles of Islam. For 5 smooth. Smooth meaning they are not covered with anything. They're not inundated with anything. 5 smooth stones. He hit this great giant called America right in the eye. The eye represents the vision of the country. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad exposed the white man as the devil in the flesh. He didn't call them names. He didn't call them hunky and pigs and all of that. He called them what he was, a real live devil. And like David, he chopped the head off, used his own sword. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad used the white man's own knowledge that he used against us to chop the head off, which means he chopped off those false ideas that kept us in perpetual slavery. So, brothers and sisters, we could take on the spirit of David and slay this great giant that is like drugs in our community. This giant that we feel that's overwhelming us, that we cannot do nothing for ourselves. This giant that we feel that has submerged us in our inability to control our own community, our own institution. We can set up our own schools. We can set up our own businesses. Right now, in a business near my community called Kifu, it's closing down. We should be ready to step right in and reopen it. But we see it as a giant, that we cannot slay it. But you already have the principles of Islam. And the principles of Islam are steeped in the truth, in the knowledge of God, the knowledge of self, and the knowledge of the devil. That was given to us by a divine man, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. So as I close, brothers and sisters, let us actualize, let us embrace the 5 fundamental principles of Islam. And if we do, we will be successful. Okay? We will be successful. Before I forget, brothers and sisters, I just wanted to let you know we have our brand new, spanking brand new Muhammad Speaks newspaper. It is called Muhammad Speaks Now. Right here, right now, published by Muhammad's Temple of Islam United. We, brothers and sisters of Muhammad's Temple of Islam United, publish this paper in the spirit of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Muhammad Speaks. I used to sell Muhammad Speaks as a young man in the Nation of Islam. You know, when I came in, it was 20 cents. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad would give us 3 cents off each paper. So we would sell it for 20 cents. We will send the 18 cents to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to build a future for us. And we got the 3 cents. But here we have this newspaper. We ask for a donation from you, brothers and sisters. If you're interested in purchasing a copy of this here, it's sold all over the country. We ask that you, there's information that's going to be given to you that where you can get a copy of this Muhammad Speaks newspaper, or someone, some brother in your area. So listen up for the information that after this speech or this lecture, you'll be able to purchase your copy of Muhammad Speaks Now. So with that, brothers and sisters, I would like to thank you again for listening to us. I pray, Allah, that you gain something from what we had to say, and may Allah bless you and strengthen you, and hold on to what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us in the 5 principles of Islam. Assalamu alaikum. So, brothers and sisters, so we are going to close out as we open up in prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad for raising up our leader, teaching guide, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Again, I thank you for listening. Let us pray in the manner we've been taught. In the most holy name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. The Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of this their judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and Thee alone do we beseech for aid. Guide us along the right path, along the path of those who Thou hast bestowed favors, but not along the path of those whom Thy wrath has brought down, nor along those who go astray after they've heard Thy teachings. Say He, Allah is one God. Allah is He whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He neither begets not, nor is He begotten, and there is none like Him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be praised or worshipped besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his true servant and last apostle. Amen.